We start this sportscast by hopping into the Wayback Machine. Let's go to 1991. Jeff Brom was the quarterback at UofL. Rick Pitino was in his second year as the UK head basketball coach. Gas was $1.14 a gallon. And spoiler alert, Thelma and Louise drove off a cliff while Kevin McAllister was having an adventure home alone in the year's top-ranked movie. All right, we revisited 1991 because certainly things have changed, but Rick Bozich, not trying to foreshadow anything there with people driving off a cliff and a kid screaming, but it was also in 1991 that UofL basketball suffered a 6-game losing streak, and that's what could happen tonight at Notre Dame. This season just been really rough for the Cards, and this is history that they are trying to avoid tonight in South Bend.
You're right. One of the strongest suits of the Louisville program, John, is the consistency of how good the program's been. They lost 6 games in a row back at the beginning of that season, and since 1943, only 2 6-game losing streaks. 4s and 5s, but 6 has been where it ends.
Well, now let's go back to January 22nd. Notre Dame was at UofL. Fans were booing. Malik Williams was asked after the game if the team had kind of tuned out Chris Mack, and he gave a no comment. That was the start of the losing skid for the Cards, and then conversely, we look at Notre Dame. They've gone 4-1 in that span, and they're playing for a lot tonight.
You're exactly right. They're tied with Duke atop the ACC. If they beat Louisville tonight, Notre Dame is in first place in the ACC. They were picked to finish 8th. Louisville, remember, started the year 4-0 in conference. People were thinking, hey, they got a chance to really be a good team. You're right, it did fall apart, and it really fell apart after that Notre Dame game. In the second half, they scored 50 points and were up at halftime.
And we've seen Notre Dame kind of be hit and miss, but you're right. That's what the ACC, it feels like it's become right now. It's like it's not even top heavy. It's like we've got Notre Dame here who, as you had mentioned before, had scored 14 points against Duke, and now they're up there with Duke in the ACC. Let's talk about tonight, though. Malik Williams. Now, he had 11 points in that last game. He's been out the last 2 games because of that suspension for whatever was going on behind the scenes. That was rectified this week with a meeting with Williams, Mike Pegues, Josh Hurd. Not really sure if he can be a factor in stopping the streak, but maybe there's some kind of return to normalcy for UofL here. Maybe try to get back on track as we hit the home stretch.
Yeah, it takes away some of the noise around the team. Let's remember, Malik Williams has been on this team. This is his 5th year. He's a 3rd-year captain. He's liked for the most part, I think, in the locker room. And Notre Dame, in some ways, could be a good matchup for him because Notre Dame does not have any big guys. In fact, their best rebounder, Nate Lizeski, is out for the game, most likely not going to play. Notre Dame is favored by 7, though, so maybe Malik Williams can be a different maker.
Well, we'll find out tonight. As you said, Notre Dame, a 7-point favorite. We will have the highlights. We will have the postgame tonight on WDRB Sports and WDRB.com.